Alright, what's going on everybody? DunkinMan back again here on the Showdown server, and I'm about to do another socket hangout because I am, you know, still interested in doing a couple of these commentaries, and I've been having a pretty good time with them as of late. The socket hangup is still bothering me, so I'm just gonna hop into a battle. And I was thinking about maybe some of these. I don't really know much about OU, to be honest, and I couldn't really tell you jack about Gen 3 OU beta, so I'm just gonna hop into a current meta. How about we go RU? Haven't done that one yet. We'll go with Twilight Prince 4 versus Mutarator Y. And see what we have got in store. It seems like Rotomo is going to trick the Cinchino a choice scarf and take its life orb. An interesting play. Not sure if the uh, Rotom Mutarator expected the switch out there or not, but it takes a heavy amount of damage from the U-turn. Pyroar comes in to threaten out the now scarfless Rotom, and Aromatisse comes in to take the hidden power, which I assume may have been ice, may have been grass, making a prediction. Not too sure at this point, but it does set up a wish as Twilight Prince goes into his Miltank and fires up a Toxic. Rotomo is able to switch in and receive the wish while also being able to trick away the life orb in favor of leftovers, leaving Miltank at a +1/+1 from Curse and having a life orb. Now, I'm not sure what Miltank thinks it's going to do against something like Doublade, but it may run some coverage move like Earthquake on its set just to stop itself from being walled by Steel types. It does not appear to have much to touch Doublade after all, and does not want to take a Secret Sword, I suppose, but goes into a Pyroar, which is equally, if not more, susceptible to said Secret Sword. So, uh, Pyroar is just going to bait in the Aromatisse again. Aromatisse does not take the Hyper Voice quite as well as it took the Hidden Power before, clearly. But setting up another wish allows Twilight Prince to switch out of his lion into his kitty, and from here he'll be able to swift, I suppose. This is a Technician Persian, which makes a little bit of sense. I expected maybe a fake out there, or something. It seems that Twilight Prince has decided to forfeit because he just cannot handle the bulk of Aromatisse. Well, let me hop into another RU battle because that one wasn't quite a battle now, was it? How about Seconds versus Rob Test? It seems that I would say Rob Test is most likely in the better position here as we start out the battle, simply because he has the much more bulky Virizion to take on the other fighting type Hitmonlee. Um, Second switches out into his Kofag, expecting, I suppose, the fighting type move because it would be the strongest move that a Virizion could put out against the Hitmonlee. Now here, the Cofagriz goes for the Will-O-Wisp as Virizion pulls out the Substitute and the Swords Dance. Infestation is going to do nothing from the Kofag onto the Virizion, so Virizion is able to get up to +6 while Ominous Wind comes out and Kofag gets the boost. Baby, I got to upload this now. That's not something you see every day. So we see the boost come out on the Kofag as Virizion goes for another sub, and the turn is wasted by second as he goes for the Will-O-Wisp on the substitute. Rob is sighing pretty heavily here because he's disappointed in the way second is playing. As he, there we go. It does seem that second has wised up and will not be going for any more Will-O-Wisps on the Virizion, especially because Virizion could knock it out. I'm not really sure why he is doing this, but he is not going to get behind a substitute, it appears, and wow, that's the second boost this game for Kofag. At this point, Kofag cannot live. No. Still pretty impressive. That's not something I see ever, so I'm glad I caught it at this moment. Delphox comes in, can easily scare out the Virizion, and Moltres comes out as, it seems that Delphox had no item and steals the power herb from Moltres. I'm not sure why Moltres had the power herb in the first place, but we may find out later. Perhaps it has Solar Beam. Uh, However, Moltres misses the Hurricane as it lives a Psy Shock, dies to the second Psy Shock, and Shuckle comes in to deal with Delphox. However, second goes for the Grass Knot, not the optimal play against the Shuckle. Very light, very thick, and it's a neutral hit anyway. So Shuckle goes for the Infestation, probably hoping to trap the Fire type in there with him. Instead gets a Clodser, eats a Water Pulse, luckily, a nice 89%. Perhaps this is a Specs quality Clodser. It is certainly one of the most popular sets that I have seen for the crawfish. Um, However, by living the Water Pulse, Shuckle is able to get up the Sticky Web and force a lot of pressure onto Second's team. Um, because now he brings in the offensive threat that is Hitmonlee, takes out the Clodser very easily with the high jump kick, goes for the knockoff on the Delphox, showing that he is, he already showed that he was Life Orb. Um, and now all he has to worry about is the now slower opposing Hitmonlee and the very, very bulky Rhyperior and Escavalier. I expect to see Escavalier here. I wouldn't be terribly surprised to see Blaze Kick from the Hitmonlee if that were the case. However, the opposing Hitmonlee is likely going to draw out a high jump kick from Rob Test's Hitmonlee. We will see which is better. However, my money is on Rob Test because it does have the speed advantage. He does miss the high jump kick. However, can Hitmonlee hit his? No, he goes for the knockoff. I guess that was a rather ballsy play on his part, expecting to either live or have that miss happen. Now Virizion can switch in, go for the close combat, which will easily take out the Hitmonlee. It should be enough to take out the Escavalier as well if in 2 hits if it were to switch in. Here, Rhyperior comes in, not too sure what Rob Test wants to do. I assume he may want to switch out, but he does decide to go for the Leaf Blade. However, that was not ever going to kill Rhyperior from about full, so that was not necessarily the best play. However, a knockoff or a close combat here can do quite a good deal of damage from the Zangoose. I suppose Rob Test just wanted a bit of prior damage, no reason to switch out at that point. Now Escavalier is going to have to take a close combat and perhaps a knockoff, and then he is going to have to deal with the Doublade that he is likely unable to touch outside of having Drill Run. However, Doublade's incredible bulk is a bit too much for something like Escavalier to handle, so that may not be the best option for him in the long run. Knockoff, he does have the knockoff, so that's what he will be going for against the Doublade. However, Doublade should be able to Shadow Claw him to death. Yes, he does. Alright, and Rob Test pulls out the victory over his opponent. Let's see, now I'm going to be getting an NU battle. Like I said in the last video, I will always be trying to get an NU battle because it is my bread and butter. Let's see, we got this one here against Registeel, Yo Bitch versus the Doors. Doors, not the Doors. I might get sued for saying that. Anyhow, Doors has a pretty threatening team with Swellow and Haunter on it. Girder is awfully bulky. Torterra is really nothing to mess with. However, Rocks could seriously benefit Registeel in this match. So it seems that Seismitoad will be an optimal lead. However, the Torterra could come out to counter it. Several things could deal with it. Spiritomb comes out from Registeel while Doors leads with Girder. It seems that Spiritomb's in the better position, though it may be on the receiving end of a knockoff soon here, and it is likely unable to do much because it may have a defensive Will-O-Wisping set with Dark type moves. So he doesn't want to Will-O-Wisp this Girder. Unfortunately, the Girder does get the Toxic Boost anyway. and that's not terribly good for Arbok, who switches in and loses his Black Sludge. Luckily, Registeel did get the attack drop, and now he pulls the double into Altaria. Not sure what he was expecting there. Potentially a fighting type hit, no, or a ground type hit. Either way, Altaria comes in, probably going to be able to take a hit from the Haunter if it wants to, but no. Registeel decides to switch out into his Spiritomb. Perhaps he has Pursuit on this Spiritomb. We will see in just a moment if he does. I'm expecting this Haunter to want to be Choice Specs or Choice Scarfed. Those are the most common variants. We get the Snarl, which is an equally good play. If the Haunter were to stay in, it would take heavy damage and lose special attack. Here, Dragalge goes for the Sludge Bomb. Not really an ideal play, perhaps forgetting that Ghost does resist poison type moves. Luckily, Spiritomb is able to get up a Calm Mind in the process. Dies to a critical hit. Draco Meteor, that definitely mattered, but I don't know what the plan was for Spiritomb at that point. So Arbok comes in, gets the Intimidate, and most likely is going to go for an Earthquake at this point. Torterra does come in as the Coil comes out actually from the Arbok. Definitely an interesting play to set up in the face of a threat like that, but the Dragalge was at relatively low stats, so I suppose the Coil was a decent option. However, he is only able to get off 57% on the Torterra, while the Torterra knocks out the Arbok with the Earthquake. Cryogonal comes in to avenge the Arbok with an Ice Beam, destroying Torterra's life and allowing Girder to come back in, possibly for a Mach Punch or a Drain Punch, knowing that he won't take much damage from the Cryogonal in the first place. Seismitoad comes in and does a decent enough job walling this Girder. Unfortunately, the Girder does have the knockoff, which does decent damage and removes Seismitoad's recovery, making it much less powerful. However, Seismitoad does get off a decent Scald, and that brings the Girder down to quite low health after the poison damage, despite the Drain Punch. Now here, Primeape can come in. He can potentially go for the close combat, though that was risky considering the presence of the Dragalge and, of course, the Ghost-type Haunter. Now, Swellow comes in, expecting probably to outspeed. I'm not sure if he knows that Primeape is generally Scarfed, but I think that Scarf Close Combat will definitely, yes, it will take out the Swellow in one hit. That was a wasted Swellow if I've ever seen one. It certainly could have done damage against the Altaria, and anything could hurt the Cryogonal. Regardless, Haunter comes in. Apparently, Doors has now realized that the Primeape is indeed Scarfed, so he's probably going to go for the Shadow Ball here. If I had to guess, we'll see. It does seem that Registeel is going to save his Primeape for later, which is a smart play. He'll be able to get off an Earthquake against the Dragalge or potentially an Ice Punch. Altaria comes in to eat the Shadow Ball, and it takes it relatively well, though it does get the special defense drop. Now that it gets a Dragon Dance up, it will be able to outspeed this Haunter and hit it with a pretty powerful move. There is no Focus Sash. Oh, okay, I see he goes for the Roost. An interesting play. Definitely a good one because he does still gain health back, but he is risking more crits and stat drops at this point. And then Haunter hits him with the Curse, so definitely an interesting turn of events. One that I never really see on Haunter is that Curse. So Altaria is not looking too good at this moment, but it can outspeed this Articuno. It can probably take it out with a hit and then live after the Curse just long enough to hit the Dragalge with a Dragon Claw. So we will see. Articuno makes the very, very good play and goes for the Protect here, meaning that the Altaria will not be able to live long enough to do any more damage, I guess, because Articuno also carries Ice Shard. Definitely a new set that I have not seen before. However, Primeape will probably be able to come in and not do much. He will die. Wow. Registeel just threw this game away. He didn't throw it away, but this game was basically taken away from him in every way possible. Articuno will be able to handle this Cryogonal one-on-one, and maybe not, maybe not. Hurricane, no confusion. Oh, he does get confused. All right, now if this just got really interesting. If Registeel, oh, he goes for the protect. This just gives Cryogonal another opportunity to break out of his confusion. Let's see if he can break out here. He takes the Ice Shard. He doesn't take it well, but he does break out. He does hit the Articuno with the Ice Beam and takes it out. He's not Life Orb, so he doesn't die. And he may be able to pull off the victory if he's got a strong enough Ice Beam. Maybe he's got Frost Breath. We'll see here. He barely misses out on the kill. Dragalge does go for the Sludge Bomb and takes him out. So that was an incredibly close battle. I'm really interested in these lower ladder battles because they seem to be really close and interesting. But I think I've gone on with this one long enough now. Yeah, it looks like I've been doing this for about 16 minutes, a bit shorter than the other ones, but it was still two fullish battles, and I think that's good enough. So, with all that being said, yeah, I will see you guys all later. Peace.